which we see the feathers fly. Two fighters do not like one another. Heated the rematch from 2 years ago, and this could be one of, if not the best fights of this card.
And they are featherweights, so we can see more feathers fly with that. This fight also being a rematch.
Did you just get that?
Get what? I just woke up, Al.
And right there is Sergio Reyes, the former Marine out of Fort Worth, Texas, who in only his 11th fight, people said, you got to be crazy to be stepping in with Orlando Canizales, who on that day was going after a record-breaking 16th straight bantamweight defense. But Reyes gave Orlando Canizales all he could handle and losing a very controversial close decision. Reyes then zoomed to #1 in the world despite the loss, and then was pounded by Ancy Gideon in a time in which Reyes was involved in a stormy relationship with his girlfriend, having domestic and personal problems, and he is now fighting for the first time in 16 months. Here is one of the all-time great champions in boxing, Orlando Canizales.
Orlando Canizales, who is really looking forward to this match. He's heard the rumors after the first fight with Sergio Reyes, and he wants to put them to sleep.
Orlando Canizales, 42 victories, 3 defeats, with 1 draw, 31 knockouts. And we are ready for the introduction. Let's go up to Jake Gutierrez.
A very pleasant good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Konnichiwa, minasan gata, yokoso MK Hall, irashai maishita. And to those of you watching around the world, we welcome you to MK Hall here in Tokyo, Japan, where tonight, Ron Brothers, in association with JDC International Real Fights, presents a night of championship boxing. This first bout we head into at ringside, IBA supervisors are Dean Chance, President, Norman Longton, the ratings chairman. This bout is scheduled for 12 rounds for the vacant IBA Featherweight Championship. Judges at ringside are Gary Merritt from Muncie, Indiana, Duke Durden, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Tom Vaca from Ashland, Ohio. And your referee in charge from Detroit, Michigan, Mr. Frank Garza. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 125.5 pounds. He wears the black trunks. He comes to us from Fort Worth, Texas. His professional record, 11 wins, 2 defeats with 3 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Sergio Manos de Fierro Reyes. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 126 pounds. His trunks are blue with red and white trim. He comes to us from Laredo, Texas. His professional record outstanding at 42 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, 31 wins by knockout. Introducing Orlando Canizales.
Seconds, I want you to keep the corners clean at all times, okay? This is for the featherweight title of the world, International Boxing Association. We already went through the rules in the dressing room. I wish both of you the best luck. May the best man win. God bless you. Touch gloves, and let's come out at the bell.
Referee Frank Garza with the instructions. Frank, who hails from Southgate, Michigan, the Detroit area. And this is a fight that Sergio Reyes has waited 2 years for. And quite frankly, Orlando Canizales said he wanted the rematch too, because a lot of people thought that Reyes had won the fight and he wanted to prove something. Canizales thought that he definitely won. He thought his punches were more effective and that Reyes never hurt him. And Canizales now, at 126 pounds. He was 118 for the first fight. Canizales had 17 championship fights as a bantamweight, and on each occasion he weighed in at 118 pounds on the nose. But he felt when he was getting down to the record-breaking 16th, the win over Sergio Reyes, that he was dehydrated, he was weak for that fight, and no longer could fight at 118. So he now jumps actually 2 divisions to 126. His cornerman, Jesse Reed, the excellent veteran trainer, feels that this is Canizales' weight right now. Canizales in the blue trunks, Sergio Reyes in the black. And Reed says you're going to see the old Orlando Canizales, great power. Sergio Reyes going right at him. That is the style of Reyes, just come forward.
Yeah, come forward, and you can hear him yell when he punches, forcing air out of his body. Some of the old-time trainers believe that you force the air out of your body when you punch, you won't get the wind knocked out of you. Orlando Canizales describes his style as versatile. He works the angles, he uses side-to-side movement, he rolls with the punches, and he's rolling right now away from Reyes. Back around the side and digging the shot to the body. Sergio Reyes says his style, a tough fighter, always in shape. His best punch, he says, is his left hook. He is naturally right-handed. There's a right hand from Reyes. That first fight between these two as bantamweights, Canizales felt like he won the fight, but so did Reyes. Canizales said, I really sealed it up when I knocked him down in the 8th round.
Yeah, but Reyes kept on coming back. I cannot believe the adjustments made by Reyes and the fortitude. And Reyes, after that fight, quickly zoomed to #1 in the world, and he was in line to fight a world championship when he was upset by Nancy Gideon. And these two guys are slugging here in the first round. No need to a good right hand by Reyes, and again, no feeling in the process.
They pick it up. This is like the 13th round because they've already been round. They pick it up here in the first round. This is the kind of fight that Reyes wants it to be. For Canizales, he wants to slow the pace down. He wants to be able to pick his shots, move in and out, and load up that big right hand.
Yeah, Canizales doesn't feel that he possesses great power, but he's all over. That is the end of round #1 in a scheduled 12-rounder. This one is called a championship fight. The newly formed, as if we need more newly formed divisions, IBA Championship Fight Featherweight Division, International Boxing Association.
There is that big right hand. That was the best punch from Reyes in that first round. What Canizales he tries to do is he tries to back away from the power to take some of the force out of it. Canizales, this is experience. Wise veteran, along with the experience of Jesse Reed in his corner.
Champ, what about fighting at 11 a.m. in the morning Tokyo time for these fighters? The adjustment that has to be made there.
A big adjustment. It is rather unusual to be fighting this early in the morning. However, these fighters have gone through their training regimen. They've kept it at this time. Also, this is they were used to fighting at this time back in the United States, which is prime time 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the United States. So
right now,
that is what they were used to, and they're accustomed to that. They did not change their time when they came here to Japan.
Ooh, nice left hook by Canizales. Just past 9 p.m. East Coast time in the U.S.
Got me up. Got a bed to get over here, so thank you for that. I'd have missed this fight.
Not only the fighters adjusting, but the commentators adjusting. That one goes low by Reyes, and again, he gets Canizales in the corner. Now, Canizales did not want to lay along the ropes. He did in the last fight, but that was to try to conserve some strength because he was weak, dehydrated in making the weight. But here he is, seems to be comfortable, even though Reyes is the one who bullied Canizales. Canizales looking for Reyes to possibly punch himself out. They feel that Reyes has a little more difficulty getting up to this weight at 126. And it doesn't look as good at this weight as Canizales would.
Yeah, he looks thick, especially upstairs. See how thick in the shoulders that Sergio looks? Canizales still looks as thin and as raily as he did as a bantamweight. But he is landing with the uppercuts on the inside. Sergio right in his face. These two are nose to nose. But watch it, digging left uppercut right to the chin. What you do is try to aim that on the inside. You catch your opponent right in the solar plexus or in the Adam's apple or on the point of the chin or on the nose, underneath the nose. Or if you miss him with a punch, you catch him with your elbow, which is against the rules.
The word on Sergio Reyes, if you take a look at his strengths, non-stop puncher. Opponents generally cannot keep up with his work rate. Tremendous determination and energy and stamina, good hand speed, a solid chin, very aggressive, does not like to take a step backward. That was the Sergio Reyes we saw in the first fight against Canizales. That was not the Sergio Reyes we saw in the upset by Ansi Gideon. But it is the Sergio Reyes we're seeing in the first two rounds here.
Yeah, that Gideon fight, he said that's a fight I should never have taken. I was #1 in the world in line for a championship shot. I was unprepared mentally, personal problems. He says, I haven't even wanted to watch the tape, the fight of that. He says, I don't want to beat myself. I don't want to get beat again and beat myself up.
And he looked at that as a tune-up. And that fight was June of '95 and the last time that Reyes was in the ring.
And in that fight, Gideon had the same trainer that's in the corner of Orlando Canizales, Jesse Reed. So this is Jesse Reed knows Sergio Reyes well.
Final seconds of round #2, and it has been 6 minutes of slugging so far.
A lot of pressure from Sergio Reyes, and a lot of pressure with Orlando keeping his back to the ropes,
which he did not want to do. Now into the corner of Sergio Reyes.
There is Jesse Reed in the corner of Canizales. Sergio Reyes corner, Terry Stotts telling him, you're getting pot-shotted out there.
Jesse Reed warning Canizales again of their, or actually bringing up their initial fight plan. He wants Canizales to stay in the middle of the ring, not on the ropes. Wants him to use the angles, leg movement. They feel that Reyes' balance is not great, and they want to try to keep him off balance.
Yeah, and to do that, there's a nice foot feint from Canizales. Feinted Reyes right out of his shoes, which kind of demonstrates what you were talking about, Al. Sergio a bit off balance. You're taught that when your back hits those ropes, you slide down the ropes to avoid going back against the ropes and your opponent to come up there. There's a nice debilitating right hand to the body from Canizales. Trying to go downstairs and also trying to use some more lateral movement. This is something he wanted to do in this fight.
Canizales has several things to prove, not just that he could cleanly beat Sergio Reyes. He also has to prove that he will be a factor as he moves up to the featherweight division. There are many feel that Canizales has been slipping. They look at his performance against Reyes, that he certainly was not the Canizales of old. Then he went on and lost to Wilfredo Vasquez for the junior featherweight championship, the WBA, which was the first loss for Canizales in 8.5 years. He won 27 in a row. And in his last fight, losing to Junior Jones in a 12-round split decision. Canizales felt that he won the fight. And we talked to Junior after the fight, and oddly enough, he felt that he won the fight.
That was a real thought that Junior won the fight. Junior thought that Junior won the fight.
Halfway through the third round.
Yeah, Canizales said, I thought it was a bad decision. He was missing, I was landing. But Canizales been around the game long enough to know how the decisions go sometime. Canizales growing up with his brothers, Juan, Roberto Jr., Rick, and Gabby, of course. Gabby Canizales, the former WBA bantamweight champion, terrific fighter. He's also a WBO. He is working the corner of Orlando tonight.
You know, it seems as if Orlando Canizales is like 40, 42 years old, been around so long. He's just 30, but he's been fighting since he was 18.
He's your age. 30.
Now, yeah. Not at 18.
You're not that old yet. One thing they're worried about from Reyes is that they want his punches to be as sharp as Canizales'. Canizales doesn't miss many of his hard punches. Sets him up, picks his shots, gets in, scores, and we see more movement from him. Some more retreating in this round, but also side to side. Oh, right hand, stunning shot from Canizales.
10 seconds left in round 3. It's great here. It's still early. This is the first fight on the card. So you could actually hear the corners calling the instructions out. Sean, we don't even have to send you to the corners here tonight. You just hear them.
Just listen to them. Something tells me these cornermen would like to come over here and talk with us. Nice left hook from Canizales and a step around. That's what he did effectively in that third round. He did not meet Sergio Reyes head on. He popped him and then he moved around. He circled.
So it took him 2 rounds to slug it out,
Yep.
to tell Sergio, hey, you know, if you want to slug, I'm here.
Sure.
And now listening to the original fight plans.
Yeah, but this is experience speaking too. I mean, he wants the first couple of rounds, he wants for Sergio to work a bit, to take some of take some of the tension off of his punches, take some of the snap out of him, and then slow him down to Orlando's speed and then pop him. The tempo, the timing is so vital in a boxing match.
Round number 4. Sergio Reyes in the black trunks, Orlando Canizales in the blue. Orlando during his 6-year reign as bantamweight champion, always considered among the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. From June of 1988 to January of 1995, bantamweight record, 16 successful defenses for Canizales, and Sergio Reyes is the man who felt that he snapped that streak at 15. This one is a title fight for the newly formed IBA featherweight championship, and there the low blow by Orlando Canizales. They may have both hit low on that shot. Frank Garza warning the 2 of them.
And they both hit high on that shot.
Those
left hook from Reyes, a right hand from Canizales.
So the roundhouse shots by Reyes, and he's talking about fighting a guy who is as knowledgeable in the ring as just about any fighter. What do you think Canizales will do after a while to counter those wild swings? How does he take advantage?
You know, you really see the experience talking, because what he did is he forced Reyes those first 2 rounds. Then he moved. He showed a different style to Reyes in that 3rd round, and a round in which I thought was a big turning point for Canizales. He's coming off his best round and he's trying to pick it up where he left it off in the 3rd. Although this is where Canizales does not want to be back against the ropes unless he's trying to make Reyes a bit tired. He feels also some of the steam going off the punches of Reyes. Nice right hand from Canizales. Sergio is very tough, strong chin, durable.
And the Sergio Reyes that we had seen as one of the hot young fighters, came out of the Olympics in '88, has returned.
Oh yeah, he started boxing at age 6 with Dave Gorman and Arturo Perez, the cornerman that he has for this fight. He was 399 and 22 as an amateur. He fought 16 years, then he turned pro at age of 23. Fought our friend Paulie Ayala 16 times as an amateur.
All 3 of them?
Just the one.
Oh, okay, but 3 times.
How
many times? 16 times.
All 16 of them.
Okay. Half a minute to go in the 4th. A little low comes Sergio Reyes. These are featherweights just banging away.
Yeah. The referee Frank Garza has not had to do any work in this fight.
You know, in their first fight, it was at this pace throughout. You would think they would tire, And they never did. And Sergio Reyes, then the youngster, just his 11th pro fight, just kept on coming and coming. Canizales may have won the fight, but Reyes really stole the show.
Yeah, and he certainly knew he was in a fight, Orlando did, the first time and this time. Last couple of rounds, Jesse Reed has to be quite happy. He's got more movement from Canizales, more punches. His shots are harder. They're crisper. They're right on the money. Reyes going wide with that right hand. Nice crunching uppercut from Orlando. Orlando really sharp, hitting the mark.
Just a reminder, this fight will be followed for all you NFL fans by a very interesting look at NFL football players in the game of boxing. A scheduled 6-rounder, Mark Gastineau versus Alonzo Highsmith. Alex Stewart will be coming up after that, followed by Tommy Morrison's return to the ring, and the main event, George Foreman against Crawford Grimsley. And there's a women's championship fight as a swing fight, time permitting. We expect to see quite a few rounds out of this one. This is round 5 of a scheduled 12-rounder. Al Albert along with the champ, Sean O'Grady, ringside in Tokyo Bay, NK Hall. We're in the east coast of the city, where right now it is 11:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Canizales now keeping his distance.
Yeah,
after going in to slug it out.
Yeah, different fighter this round. He says of his style that he is versatile, and this is some of the versatility of Canizales, now using more lateral movement, trying to get on the side of Sergio. Sergio surging in. He knows only one direction to fight, and that is right straight ahead, and he throws strong, powerful hooks. His best punch, he says, is the left hook for Sergio.
Reyes, a former Marine. He has been fighting as a pro for only 3 years. So he made a giant leap, although now falling out of the rankings.
Well, he still wants to fight as a bantamweight, but moved up in weight for this one. He says, I'm much stronger at 125 pounds, but the only problem is your opponents are always much stronger at 125 pounds too.
Halfway through the 5th round.
He wanted this fight so badly, Sergio Reyes did. He said, I'd fight him at 150 pounds.
Well, you know, sometime within the 16 months he was off, I think he did reach 150 pounds.
Hoping to fight at 150 pounds.
First 10 fights for Reyes was in the junior featherweight division, roughly around 122. He actually came down to 117 to fight Canizales that first time. That was in October of '94.
Yeah, and he was tight and strong for that fight. He said, I won the fight. He said, my toughest fight, but I put everything into it. He said, I learned, though, how the politics of boxing are played. He said of this fight, he said his fight plan for Reyes, now with his back against the ropes, he was going to work the jab. He says the pace will be the same for this fight, but more jabs. He says, I'm going to plant my shots, work more to the body. He says because Orlando's 30 years old, he said he will retire after this fight, talking about Orlando Canizales. I think he's slipped, said Reyes.
Closing seconds of the 5th.
Yeah, both of them trying to pour it on to steal this round. Close round.
5 rounds down in the scheduled 12-rounder. Sergio Reyes, Terry Stotts in front of him. And they're talking about continue what you're doing, go after him, you're going to break him.
He's definitely putting the pressure on, but what he's got to be worried about is that he breaks. See, putting Vaseline around his eyes. That's Dave Gorman over there. Arturo Perez leaning in the ropes with the hat on. Drink of water. Back out to work. Only one way to fight for him, and that is get in my opponent's face.
Back him up, right? Don't be stupid out there, right?
You know, the amazing thing
can
is
hear
here,
that.
the other corner could hear him.
Everybody can hear that.
Jesse Reed and Orlando Canizales sitting there listening to Terry Stotts.
Oh, Terry does not have a microphone on. we have not put a microphone on Terry.
I'm telling you, punch from.
Let's just say it is very quiet here. It is a later arriving crowd. Very respectful crowd.
Very respectful country.
Up jab. Keep working the jab.
Round number 6.
Work your jab, Armando. Work your jab.
And you can hear Jesse Reed out of his corner asking Orlando Canizales to work the jab.
Yeah, he wants to keep Orlando calm, composed. He doesn't want Orlando to get into this toe-to-toe struggle battle with Sergio Reyes. That's just what Reyes wants to do. Reyes knows that Orlando's a good fighter. He's very smart in the ring. He has a good right hand. And he wants to make Orlando work for those later rounds when he thinks Orlando will be huffing and puffing.
Orlando now first time invitation where he is shaking out his right arm.
They've heard that. So many times your hands, your fist, hit your opponent on the top of the head or even on the shoulder if you've got an injured hand. That's smart. You're on the point of the elbow. Now look how low Reyes is keeping his hands. Oh, his gloves get so heavy.
Both fighters who could turn on the offense, but both fighters get hit a lot. And it's Canizales now trying to dictate by keeping the distance, using the jab, but now it's Reyes moving in and again getting Canizales where he doesn't want to be, on the ropes. This is the 13th professional fight for Sergio Reyes, the 46th for Canizales.
Is that amazing? And Sergio has as much composure as any professional fighter, any professional champion inside the ropes.
Minute to go in the 6th.
Right hand. Body shot. Body shot. Right hand. Body shot.
Sergio Reyes in the black trunks, a record of 11-2.
Come on.
Orlando Canizales in the blue trunks, 42 victories, 3 defeats, and 1 draw. His losses coming to Junior Jones in his last fight in March, to Wilfredo Vasquez, taking his fight at the Junior Championship, and earlier this tour, in his 13th pro fight, to the former Olympic gold medal winner, Paul Canizales.
Sergio is hurt right here. And trying for an explosion is Canizales. Downstairs to the body. You know, when you're carrying some extra pounds like Sergio is in this fight, your opponent's going to smell that out. And he's going to hit you in the body. Those body punches just froze Sergio Reyes momentarily. Oh, they hurt. It hurts to be hit in the body. It doesn't hurt to be in the chin. It hurts downstairs to the body.
Although, if you had a choice, you prefer not to get hit in the chin.
If you had a choice, you prefer not to get hit. But you're right, not to get hit in the chin. If you hit in the chin, you go to sleep. You get hit in the body, it hurts. It'll wake you up.
Don't stay in one place too long because this guy can't even move his legs. Follow me? Give me the watch. Give me the watch.
There he is. You can hear the voice of Terry Stotts.
I ain't worried about that right now. I'm worried about trying to liver shot.
He is
Sergio,
quite excited.
don't stand in one place and let this man pop shot his body. If he's putting his hands in his body, man, you got hit wrong before you.
All right. We all know what he's going to do now.
You follow what I'm saying? Great punch, yeah.
Stotts is real concerned because Canizales is pot-shotting him. He's making Sergio do all the work. Orlando sits back, picking his shots. He's relaxed, calm, just what Jesse is wanting him to do. Picking his shots, not wasting any punches, not wasting any energy. Experience talking.
Looks like the pay-per-view company made a good move, having to pay the champ so much money to come over here in Japan to announce the fights. We had to hold back a little bit on equipment, and we did not have mics for each of the corners, and they knew what they were doing. They didn't need them.
Stotts has talked as if he has a microphone.
Body and head. That's a feint.
Haven't heard much from Jesse Reed, but he is a trainer of very few words. He will tell his fighter 1 or 2 things between rounds to try to alter whatever it is that the opponent is doing. And the man who really understands understands boxing, the former fighter himself, Jesse Reed.
Right back again.
He really is guiding Orlando Canizales through this fight. I think a major
Come on, go.
turning point was back in that third round. Remember the first 2 rounds, Sergio Reyes really surged ahead, kept the pressure on, kept Orlando's back to the ropes, and worked well with his hook. In the third round, Orlando Canizales came back, started landing with sharp shots. He started moving more, turning. Good right hand from Reyes.
Stay low when you feel it, Orlando. Feel it. Come on. Feel it, son. Get a rhythm. Get a rhythm with the jab.
Jesse Reed's asking for
Don't do
a
it.
rhythm.
Don't do it. Don't let him out. Don't let him out. Don't let him out. Come on, Sergio. Don't let him out.
Get that jab going, everything else falls in place. Get the jab working, everything else will work.
That's it. Let him run in.
Good right hand.
Keep working him, Orlando. Hard shot. Hard shot. That's right. Come on. Keep going, Sergio. Keep going.
Whoa, none of that.
Oh, man, come on. He's
None of that. Frank Garza, no palming.
That right eye is starting to blast over. We're gonna.
Not in Palm Springs.
Only
You
in
can't,
basketball.
you can't palm.
Coming down to a minute to go in round 7.
Left hook to the body.
First fight in 16 months for Sergio Reyes, and question of whether that will tell a tale further on in this fight. Reyes' last 3 fights have gone 12. Certainly used to that distance.
Yeah, after a terrific, surprising performance from Reyes with Orlando Canizales in their first meeting, you have to wonder if he was complacent as he lost to Gaddy in this fight. I think he's just one step behind Orlando. Since that third round, sneaking out every round.
You see all the punches by Reyes, but also keep in mind of his 11 wins, he only has 3 knockouts. So he's not known as a big puncher.
Not a hard
Does punch a lot.
yeah, busy.
It's quantity more than he
Come on, Sergio. Don't do it. Finish strong.
In contrast, the punches from Orlando have not been wasted.
Here's the way to work in.
Round 7 comes to an end. Tokyo Bay Hall, once again with their hand appreciation of 2 warriors who are just swinging through 7 rounds. These 2 fighters finished their fight. They're the first to go home.
And yes, that's the great thing about fighting first. Or you can sit and watch the rest of the fights on the card.
Sure.
That's the best part of fighting first. The worst part of fighting first is you normally have to stand in the ring during an anthem, during the national anthem, and at a time when you want to be loosening up and warming up.
And in the case of a morning fight, you got to get up early.
That's why they call it a morning fight.
When
Unless
do
you're
you
Alonzo
eat?
morning.
When do you? How many hours before
Seconds up.
a fight do you like to eat?
Round
Or you
8.
should eat.
The final
Round
meal,
8.
the Last Supper, usually comes about 5 o'clock if you have an 8 o'clock fight. So with being here, their Last Supper should have been, what, 8 o'clock in the morning? 7, yeah, somewhere around there. The Last Supper. And it is a bit like the Last Supper. Training table, all your fighters, your sparring partners sit around the table with you. Your trainers, your managers, and always the fighter sits at the head of the table. That means he gets to eat first, too. And if you're George, you get to eat first and last.
Pull him in, Orlando. Pull him in. Pull him in. That's it. Look at that shot if he misses with that shot. Counter on.
George Foreman, main event coming up later.
Don't wait.
Next fight,
Misses making pay.
Mark Gastineau, Alonzo Highsmith.
That's the way to put them together. He's going under it, Orlando. Bring the shot
The
up.
significance of that,
Up and out.
Yeah, the kickoff
So-
of that fight
sorry.
about
certainly understood back at the States.
Find him with the jab. Find him with the jab.
We're here in
Find him with
Tokyo.
the jab. Keep touching. Keep
It's
touching
just
him
2
with the
really
jab.
big guys getting in the ring and fighting.
good left hook from Gonzalez.
Talk
Look how
to me,
sharp
Orlando. Talk to
the
me.
punches are from
Talk to me.
Orlando.
Sergio, talk to me, son. Talk to me.
Sergio's
Do it.
punches
He's going under the
slow,
wall.
feeling this extra weight. You know, especially in these lighter weight divisions,
Nothing, man. Come on.
even a pound or 2, you really feel it. You just feel sluggish. You feel slow. You feel lethargic.
Now shoot. Now shoot. Make him pay. You make him miss like that, make him pay.
Oh, Jesse Reed likes this. A nice pivot around, left foot pivot. Canizales and a score. That's just what Jesse Reed wants.
Okay, you're Sergio Reyes, and you hear Jesse Reed say, make him miss, make him pay. Number one, you hear it, and if you do, then what?
You hear it, but it doesn't matter. You still, with this extra pound, you can't throw punches any faster. You know what's coming. You can't get out of the way of it. With the extra weight on top of you, it really hurts you. It is extremely damaging to the fighter.
Inside a minute to go in round 8.
Again, right hook. Work on them eyes.
The last time that Orlando Canizales had the title belt around his waist was October '94 when he defended successfully for the 16th straight time against Sergio Reyes. He held the bantamweight title for 6 years and 3 months. Bantamweight record. Now he has now been 2 years without a belt, which for Orlando is an eternity.
That's why he went up to featherweight. He didn't need the belt to hold his pants up anymore because
He's expanding.
he's moving up.
Final seconds of the 8th.
Grinding look from Canizales. That's just what they want. You can hear it from Reed in the corner. Just round by round, one round builds off the last.
Orlando Canizales from Laredo, Texas.
Yeah, just a preponderance of punches. And see what he's doing. Nice little pivot over to the side, working the angles, and see how relaxed his punches are, how fluid. Right now, Reyes pushing every one of his punches. Very happy in the corner of Orlando.
What I'm saying, move in here. Don't worry about just number one. There's another one coming. All right? That's what I'm saying. You can do it, man.
Very happy and calm. This corner is
Seconds out. Let's go.
real calm. They're on top of it.
Round
They know
9.
what they're doing. Jesse Reed tells them a few things to do. He also, with the tone of his voice, brings down the urgency, or the sense of urgency.
Orlando always looks like that in the corner.
Yes.
You know, the end of the first round into the 12th, winning, losing. Looks like he's gone 25 rounds.
Right.
You know, dripping wet, has that stoic look on his face.
And he's always happy. You talk to him outside the ring. Outside, you think, how could this man be a fighter? He is a terrific fighter.
Very giving person. Laredo, Texas, very proud of Orlando and his family and his brothers. He's employed in the Parks and Recreation Department in Laredo. He's a sports coordinator.
Doing a good job of parking and coordinating his punches on the chin of Sergio Reyes.
Right hand, left hook. Step into the right. Nice. Bring the hook tight. Bring the hook. Come on, son. Left hand.
Couple of lefts by Reyes and a return by
Come
Canizales.
back with 3 and 4.
And they are cheek to cheek here in round number 9.
Come on, keep working. Come on, don't stay there. Don't like it. Don't stay there.
Jesse Reed, of course, keep working. And both fighters listening to him on that one.
Yeah, well, they are in the corner of Orlando Canizales. Jesse Reed is right below them. Good combination from Reyes. The Reyes just does not have the power behind each shot.
Right back to the bottom.
As Canizales does. Canizales' punches are fluid, they're snappy, they're relaxed. He hasn't really put the power in them yet.
Turn your shoulder.
Stand there.
It's easy for me to say when I'm sitting over here.
But what he's doing basically is he's preparing this.
Yeah, that's right. He is. Exactly. What you do is you put your punches out. If your opponent's not ready to go down yet, you take some of the intensity off. You keep your shots landing, make him get used to getting hit. You make him like it. You make him ask for it, and then you give it to him. And at this point, Sergio Reyes not yet asking for the right hand. Drives Sergio back to the corner.
Here's a switch. Canizales now pinning Reyes up against the ropes.
Come on.
Yeah, Reyes just doesn't have the strength
Hold it together, leverage, leverage.
Hold that left hand.
Right
back.
uppercut. Right uppercut. Right cross.
Drop step, drop step. Drop step. Pick him up, you're hurting.
Gonzalez
You're
cutting
hurting.
through, goes a little low on the hip.
You're hurting, pick him up.
At this
Go,
time,
move your
at
head.
this point in
Move your
this
head.
fight, I would say to Canizales, it's time to
Right back
explode.
again, right back again.
You've got Sergio
That's it,
Reyes
keep
walk
working,
down
Rolando, keep working it.
to a
You don't
slow
like it.
speed. Now you're trying to really go for the knockout.
Right down,
Pick it up,
four
score
spot.
it fast, he'll do that.
Final
In the next
seconds.
round.
Keep touching, keep touching.
Ninth round.
You'll hear it from me.
10 seconds.
Combination to end it. So Canizales ending strong and rallying back to his corner, Sergio Reyes. Best round for Canizales as they feel the window of opportunity is now opening.
Here's why they feel that window opening. Good look at these combinations, and also the demeanor of Sergio Reyes all of a sudden back against the ropes. This is something we have not seen in this fight. He's not throwing punches, just trying to duck out of the way of some of the hard punches of Canizales.
Remember all the talk. This guy gets you ready to get slow. You're making beat on him. Don't get up in the ropes. You know what I mean? Yeah, turn around, do something. But I'm saying, don't be talking.
Vaseline on the face. Just Vaseline around the eyes to try to moisten the eyes so you don't get cut. You know, where a lot of fighters get cut is right on the orbital bone. Right where your eyebrow is. But it looks like a small cut, abrasion has opened up. Is underneath that right eye of Sergio Reyes. Orlando saw it, just went right to it. Good left hook from him.
Step over to the right, hold the left hook, Rolando.
No, that's all. He's done. That's it. That's it. I'm good. That's all.
And Sergio Reyes run out of gas. Orlando Canizales very surprised at what was going on. Then he realized it.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah.
But especially after the performance that Sergio Reyes showed us in the first meeting between these two, he said that he was going to end the career of Orlando Canizales, but it was Canizales, I think, who's done that to Reyes. He knew somebody's career was going to be ended.
Very decisive. Canizales playing it extremely well. Very patient. Knew what he had to do. You could sense it that last round, ninth round, and certainly Sergio Reyes also. And Reyes, who's been out 16 months, and it really caught up to him in the later rounds. So Orlando Canizales, who fights for the first time at 126 pounds at the featherweight class, now looking to make his move on the featherweight division.
Yeah, really time to open it up for Canizales, and he knew it. He sensed the end was near, and I hear Sergio Reyes just said, "Yeah, you know what? This isn't my night.
It's not going on anywhere."
That's right. That's it. Enough. I'm not a knockout artist, and I'm way behind. I thought a big turning point in this fight was back in the third round when Reyes was not able to put Canizales to the ropes. Orlando started using his lateral movement and really just picking Sergio Reyes apart.
All right, we're ready now for the official time. Let's go to Jake Gutierrez.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is started at 24 seconds of the 10th round. The winner by TKO and new IBA featherweight champion, Orlando Canizales.
Class act. A champion, Orlando Canizales, and he claims an IBA title, the newest division in alphabet soup land. And Canizales goes 40 over the 500 mark, 43 wins, 3 defeats with 1 draw. And Sergio Reyes now drops to 11-3. And he gets a hand as he leaves.
No, this crowd is terrific. Very respectful. Even though Sergio Reyes lost, they applaud him as they do Orlando Canizales. It's impressive.
Reyes won his first 10 pro fights, but now has lost 3 of the last 4.
It's really a hand that Sergio Reyes needs right now.
Gonzalez walks out with his new belt. And that is the Spanish broadcast. Grabbing Orlando. And it it gets really dark here as we await the next fight. Mark Gastineau and Alonzo Highsmith. I know, Sean, this was the one that you had circled in red on your scorecard, the one that you were waiting to see. Actually, we saw both of these former NFL stars as they started their boxing careers. And it's a big entrance for the two. Tommy Morrison making an early. He doesn't want to miss this one either. No, Tommy Morrison not fighting yet. And there is the 6'6", 255-pound former All-Pro with the New York Jets, two-time AFC Defensive Player of the Year, Mark Gastineau. And he is the answer to our early trivia question. Which fighter on this card weighs the most? And it's Gastineau at 255. Even outweighs George Foreman. And when you see George, you won't believe it's felt kilos. So Gastineau, who has won 15 fights with 1 loss, 15 knockouts. And here's an opponent who previously was at the other side of the line of scrimmage. 30-year-old Alonzo Highsmith, 9 years younger than Gastineau. He has had 16 fights. He has won 15 of them. 1 draw, that was on a cut. 13 knockouts, including the last 3 in the first round. Highsmith, the 3rd pick in the 1987 NFL draft by Houston after an All-American career at the University of Miami. National champs under Jimmy Johnson. Played for the Oilers and played 6 years before knee injury. Moved him out of football. We are ready now for the introductions, and here is Jake Gutierrez.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next bout is a special heavyweight attraction scheduled for 6 rounds. Our referee in charge from Ashland, Ohio, Mr. Tom Vaca. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He weighed in at 255 pounds. He wears the black trunks with the red trim. He is from Bedford, Illinois, with a professional record of 15 wins, only 1 defeat, 15 wins by knockout. He is a former NFL player of the New York Jets. Introducing Mark Gastineau. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He weighed in at 223.5 pounds. His trunks are of black in color. He is from Missouri City, Texas. His professional record unblemished at 15 wins, no defeat, 1 draw, 13 big wins by knockout. A former NFL star with the Houston Oilers and Dallas Cowboys. Introducing Alonzo Highsmith.
A stare down. Gastineau at 6'6", 255. Highsmith at 6'2", 223.5 pounds. And they have followed 2 different roads. Gastineau started quickly, got right into the pro game, and found out he just wasn't ready. He has not fought in 2.5 years. Highsmith stepped back a little bit. He trained for 18 months before he finally had his first fight. Great respect for the sport, as does Gastineau now. Highsmith becoming a student of the game. Matter of fact, while Gastineau has been out the last 2.5 years, Highsmith turned pro and has fought 16 times. So give the edge to Highsmith in that area. He has been active, and Gastineau a little rusty. And there is that wild swing of Gastineau, and countered nicely by Highsmith.
Yeah, Highsmith said, I'm an athlete. I follow boxing. I respect the game. I work in the gym. And he has done his homework in the gym. Mark Gastineau has recently stepped back. He first learned how to box in the ring in front of the crowd. Then in the last couple of years, he's been out of boxing to try to learn how to fight in the gym like Alonzo Highsmith has been doing. He said, my goal is not to embarrass boxing. I don't want to be a sideshow, no Barnum and Bailey show.
And you know what? When Highsmith turned pro, he said it was guys like Gastineau, Too Tall Jones that made it more difficult for him.
Yes, but it really helped him, Al, because he realized that he has to spend the time in the gym before he ever gets in front of people to show them what he's learned. Yeah, he describes himself as a more relaxed fighter than many of the other football players. His best punch is a jab.
Gastineau, and he is wobbly. Tommy Vaca steps in. And, Vaca now steps in.